everybody. As you can tell, I'm not prepared for this, but anyway, it's rainy here in Virginia, and that's what this is all about. So the fight on parental rights is one that I've really been delving into because parents, and you can join myself on Rumble with Jerome Bell, the amazing Jerome Bell, tonight at 9 p.m. on Rumble, the Radical Republicans. You can look it up, or I'll put a link in here later. And we're going to be talking about CPS because Jerome and I both have experience in Child Protective Services. I used to do research and recovery for Operation Underground. Child sex trafficking, having social workers in our schools, what that's going to do, with video proof from new legislation coming out of different states. But I wanted to this issue here because I'm in several different mom chats, and we're constantly sharing stuff out of our own divisions. Like, oh, look, just teacher charged with sexual assault, teacher charged with raping a child, teacher charged with abusing 5 preschool students, and it is the epidemic, pandemic problem that for years has gone unaddressed here. And so I started doing like a deeper dive into it, and I found this report. A report, and then of course I just found another report that, believe it or not, our brand new Lisa Coons, and this was given to the governor from the OSIG federal, but this was the original one I found: sexual harassment widespread in schools. And I found this just while looking up teacher assaults, Virginia. And this was from December 8th. So this would be over the winter, this past year. And I'm much better at doing these than writing Substack because there's so much information that to actually write it down. So it's easier for me to show you and to talk about it than to, so this group, investigativereportingworkshop.org, did a deep dive after Grace had endured sexual harassment at school before she found the courage to tell her parents. Now this covers more of the problem of child on child, not so much teacher on child. But we can see like the, I think it was Portsmouth that had the second graders giving oral sex to each other. Earlier last year in Chesterfield, at Bailey Bridge Middle School, boys sodomizing another little boy in a bathroom, is that the rise of this kind of behavior is not like in the water, okay? It's coming through stuff that you don't know your children are being taught. Because when stuff like this rises, it's not just like a culture, it's not just like the world is changing, okay? The children have not become, assailants, victimizers on their own. Stuff like comprehensive sexuality education, where you rehearse consent, is bringing a lot of this in. But aberrant behavior like this is not normal. But they go on to say that Grace's case is but one of at least 44,270 unwelcome on-campus sexual harassment incidents reported to the Department of Education in the past 5 years. Okay, reported. So you know that with anything, the one that you see, it's like the iceberg example. Think about the huge chunk of iceberg underneath that you don't see. So if over 4,000 are reported, because we know the law on reporting is disgusting because of the belief of the school to prison pipeline, we don't want to report them. So if 4,000 over 5 years have been reported, you have to think about what's under the iceberg that has not been reported. So I just wanted to mention this. Again, investigativereportingworkshop.org. And if you look up, I think, Prince William with it, you'll be able to find it. And it goes into a lot more detail but this is what I found 2 weeks ago when I started looking into this. And then I wanted to jump to what I most recently found in Emporia News, and this was a month ago, I think. Yeah, I think this was a month ago. And this is specifically directed towards teachers. It talks about 280 Virginia teachers over the last 2 decades. Okay, think about it. How many cases in your specific division this year and last year alone have you heard about? So to think about 280 losing their license. And then it goes on to say that just over 41% of the teachers who had action taken against them is the 280. So that means that 780 had action taken against their license. So here, this wonderful thing called Data Wrapper, it goes into each division. So you've got revocation, Roanoke, felony forcible sodomy on a 4-year-old. That was 2008. Okay. Sexual relationship with a student in Albemarle. That was this year, March 15th, 2023. Revocation, found case of child sexual abuse, again in Albemarle. Cancellation, felony enticement or coercion, Albemarle. Misdemeanor assault battery based on alleged in Alexandria. Alexandria's got it. Felony child pornography, Alexandria. Look, inappropriate relationships with 17 and 18. They have to throw that 17 and 18-year-old in there, don't they? Because, I mean, they're almost adults, right? No. This is the problem, guys, is that when you give, it's the same. So the assault on parental rights is because why? If you homeschool, you're homeschooling them because you're abusing them. If you don't know this narrative, you need to catch up with, because that's what's coming at us full blast. We want parental rights codified. No, we don't. Don't do it. Stop doing it. Because, as I'm going to show you in a second, our legislators are idiots. And after yesterday's primary, we're even more screwed because the people that were listening to us got ousted by the establishment. So nobody's going to listen to the actual grassroots who aren't taking money to talk about specific things. And then you've got Allegheny Highlands felony conviction, 8 counts taking indecent liberties with a minor. That would be Allegheny Highlands. That would be this year also. And then felony conviction, child pornography, Amelia, Arlington, indecent exposure. I mean, and it goes on and 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 on. So this is a data wrapper. I will copy and paste into the comments. Hi, Isabel. Isabel said, hello and thank you. This is not something, this is actually something that makes me nauseous and disgusting. And a reminder, guys, if you're on Facebook watching, if you're in the group, I'm not going to be able to see you. You can go to my public page and, but if you want me to know who you are, if you're in the group, it's closed. If you want me to see, because somebody said, yeah, and you're stuck with Louise Lucas. You're absolutely right. Spurriel I worked with, and it's like, and getting, I mean, he was somebody that you could actually have a conversation with. And same thing with Elizabeth Guzman. Like, McPike, as disgusting as they are, like, the fact that Guzman beat him yesterday is that we got whooped up all over the place. Is that we replaced semi-sane lunatics with absolute lunatics. And so yesterday, Jerome and I are going to go over that tonight on the Radical Republicans at 9. But you can, this is page 1 of 19. 19. Can I filter by year? I want to filter by year. Oh, look, I can. Okay, Cumberland, March 20, and this is not updated. because I've got the most recent. So let's see, Cumberland, March 2023. Fairfax, March 2023. Roanoke, March 2023. Albemarle, March 2023. Colonial Beach, February 2023. Chesapeake, February 2023. Virginia Beach, January 2023. Loudoun, okay, December 2022. Allegheny Highlands, December. Stafford, December or September. Chesterfield County, my county, over and over and over. Fairfax, March 2022. Frederick, February. So this is not, keep in mind, this is not a Loudoun County problem like the mainstream media wants you to understand. The mainstream media wants you to think this is only happening. No, this is teacher on children. Let's be clear about this, what this is. This is teacher on children, okay? Carroll County. Go back. Where? Isabel, go back. Okay, so these are all felony indecent liberties. 8 counts taking indecent liberties. Back to Stafford. Here, revocation, inappropriate conduct of a sexual nature toward multiple students, Stafford County, September 2022. Oh, I've got Stafford coming. I did my own independent pulling of this. Felony production of child pornography, Richmond City. And guys, this goes back years. Okay. Loudoun, Fairfax. I don't know why it says NA. I'm gonna have to look into that. Roanoke, Chesterfield County. Again. Fairfax, Henry. 2 felony convictions. Computer solicitation of a child. Henry. So it's not just big counties, guys. It's not just. Oh, Fairfax. Or she said, "Oh my God, we've never heard anything from." Oh. You want to talk about, so you've got Fauquier, you've got Winchester, you've got, I mean, some of the reports coming out of here are the Stafford area, explicit, like that little portion right below Northern Virginia, right above Chesterfield, that little, like, yeah. Portsmouth, Loudoun. But then what's even worse is, oh, I'll get to this. Is that, see, the VDOE tracks these things. This is this data from the teacher license actions since 2000. Okay? The Virginia Department of Education tracks these. This is from the Virginia Department of Education. So let's see. Can we filter by year? I don't know if we can. Oh, let's see. We can go down here. Count of action sex crimes. Chesterfield County, 10. Fairfax, 30. 30. But they know how to best raise our children. And they're the ones who stand in the place of parents. These are things you need to know. By the way, I'll throw in, guys, the obscenity exemption for porn. Digging into that, haven't had a chance to write that up. In the 70s, because if you read our obscenity code, it's from the 70s. That was Alfred Kinsey. 42 states adopted those exemptions because of Alfred Kinsey, the man who did all the research by raping babies. It's called penal law. That's what you need to attack, is the exemptions and the fact, and this is a sidebar, I'll get into more of that on a different episode. But the reason that Virginia has exemptions is because of Alfred Kinsey from the 70s. That's how you attack the exemptions on obscenity, is what it's based on. Alfred Kinsey. Okay? Side note. Just as I wanted to throw that out there. Loudoun, 14. Keep in mind, Loudoun, 14. Chesterfield, 20. Okay. Prince William, 14. Virginia Beach, 12. See, they only 283 over 20 years. Okay, that's the problem right there. Count of all actions, it goes up. 25 in Chesterfield. 55 in Fairfax. Okay. and it's not going to get any better. And so we're not talking about just like, okay, so arrested and charged possession of child pornography. Let's see. Felony carnal knowledge of a minor based on sexual conduct. That's Bath County. Traveling interstate purposes for engaging in illicit sexual contact with another person based on to engage with sex acts under 13. That's Bristol. Chesterfield County, felony possession of child pornography, felony indecencies with liberties based on alleged sexual contact with a minor. Henrico. And it goes on and on and on and on. Culpeper, Greensburg, Bedford, Grayson, Carroll, Floyd. This is not isolated incidences, guys. Sorry. And then, so we went over that. Okay, I'm going to close that out because we went over that. Went to, remember, how Emily Brewer got elected yesterday? And I was warning people about the Virginia Commission on Youth. So, review of standard of proof to determine a founded case of child. This is what they do. See, Emily Brewer, she's now the chair. Is they go through a lot of this stuff regarding, because in this article, let's go through here. Production of child pornography. See, this is the problem. Passed in 2008 required Virginia courts to report known to certain offenses. Okay. The database was allowed after 2011. Tracking myth. Okay, so here's from VCU. This was recent because this thing just came out like a month ago. The professor in a school of education at Virginia Commonwealth University, VCU. She began researching school employee sexual misconduct in the 80s. Teacher initiated sexual misconduct occurs more than is reported, according to Carol Shakeshaft. I believe that we have left it to children to keep themselves safe. You think? We need to stop expecting children to be responsible for their safety in schools and expect school employees to keep children safe. Yeah, and not rape them, abuse them, because we're going to get to abuse. This is just sexual, okay? Children may less likely to report sexual abuse by school employees for reasons such as threats, feeling like no one will believe them, or believing the behavior is acceptable. How about also removing parents and telling them that I'm your safe adult? Do you have, let's create your safe, who are your supportive adults? How is a child, after you remove them, that their parents aren't taking care of them? This is grooming, guys. Grooming. Let's be clear. So you're now, okay, oh, your parents aren't supportive adults. Let's create you a safe, supportive plan. And then you get abused in schools. But you can't go to your parents because the schools have taught you that your parents aren't safe, that we're the safe ones. You see where the problem is here? Because when you have in loco parentis, when they believe that they can stand, and I will get into the whole dumpster fire of what that actually is later too. But when you have people that stand in place of parents that are also the mandated reporters, that's like, you can't have them together because they're the parent and the mandated reporter. Who's gonna mandate reporting on the actions that they're taking on themselves? That's another huge problem. But so she goes on, I believe we care more about the comfort of adults than the safety of children. Do you think? Do you think? Which where is it? Right here. So, this is what drives me bonkers. So when you research that, who pops up? The NEA. But not just the NEA. Not just the NEA. The CEA. Okay? More teachers and education support professionals are urging lawmakers to address the crisis of unsafe behaviors in schools, threatened and attacked by students. This is the gall of the NEA, is to write an article about They're the victims. They're the victims. Okay? Student violence is not rare an occurrence as most people think. Yeah, you know, we watch our kids getting their asses beat on recordings from school. And if they dare to lift their hand to defend themselves, what do you do in the name of restorative practices? You suspend them both? A kid that's never gotten in trouble before? Awesome. Great job. And our rights are being attacked. Not yours. Okay. So then I'm going to jump over to, so then here I'm going to post this, this would be the Department of Social Services report. And it breaks down each individual. I don't know if I can zoom in. I can't zoom in here. But I'm going to post that. Let's see. Cases received. Let's just take, I don't think, can I zoom in? Maybe I'll zoom in right here. Yeah, I think I can. Oh, nope. Don't want to do that. Okay. So you can see the problem here with CPS. Okay. So in Alexandria, they received 15,000 cases. They accepted 6,000. They deemed 8,000 invalid. Okay. And a lot of people are like, well, isn't that good? Because isn't CPS a problem? Well, yeah, it is. It is a problem. But the problem is that Virginia is one of the dirty 13 in which there's federal money pumped in. There's no state oversight. There's no state uniformity. Every county does what they want. Each CPS is individual. Okay. So you might have one division, like Carroll, they're at least doing more than 50% of what was reported versus accepted. And you go to Campbell, where there's 11,000 and there's only 4,000. So like Brunswick has 823 received, accepted 556. And so you can see the total number here. It's less than half are accepted versus deemed invalid. And so what schools have been doing is that they're reporting to CPS, not the police. And then when schools report stuff to CPS, as the report said, 26% are then deemed reportable to the police. So in the case of Chesterfield County, I'll get to, with the multiple preschool in Chesterfield Early Learning Academy, those were reported to CPS, not the police. And it wasn't until the parents reported it to the police then went to CPS, because the CPS had deemed a teacher physically assaulting 5 children, and then found another case of another teacher that had been reported to CPS the police never knew about. See what the problem is? But then they want to claim rights over our children in loco parentis. In loco is correct. And so this is stuff you need to know, because they're coming for our rights, saying they know what's best. And because we demand our children not take gender ideology or comprehensive sex ed, you need to know about the UN child rights movement too, because children's rights, it is their right to know about, and you are failing them if you do not teach them about gender ideology from birth. That's the new dialogue, guys, and that's what they're going to attack you with, and that's what they're darvoing, strawmanning you with at school board meetings. But you need to have these facts. Well, here's the inconvenient truth, whatever division you live in, is that you want the rights for me, but how about the, 9 teachers that raped, sodomized, had child pornography? Yes, it is the communist agenda. It has been forever. I have a geopolitical war history master's. You can talk about Lenin, you can talk about Stalin, you can talk about Hitler, you can talk about Lukács, Gromsky, Che Guevara. I mean, you can go on and on and on. Mao. I mean, this has been what they've done. But look at Fairfax. 72,000 received. 44,000 deemed invalid. Okay. This is where you run into the county by county free-for-all. Frederick, okay. And so that's just wanted to get into that. And then, so this is a child, you can look this up. This would be a child abuse and neglect in Virginia from this past year, or the year before last. She said started with Skinner. Skinner, it actually, it goes back further than that, is to really understand, especially the obscenity portion of it, it's Kinsey. Skinner is more along the lines of like the type of education that they are retrieving, like, Pavlov's dogs almost. But yes, Skinner is one that you need to know. You need to know about John Dewey, and you need to know about, Paulo Freire. You need to know about, Karl Marx. Personalized student-centered learning we're living with now is a Marxist approach to education, where the teacher is nothing but a guidance. It's the road to hell is what we're living in. And it's perpetuated by both parties, which is why yesterday was such a loss for the state of Virginia. Because any hope that we had to get anybody in to fight for our children, and then the replacement of the moderate Democrats with the absolute lunatics, it's about to get bad fast. 100%. And if you think that was an accident, you better wake up. Crap. I deleted the one I needed. Where'd it go? Okay, so then, guys, here, this is from the Office of the State Inspector General, Child Protective Performance Audit. I'll paste it. This is to the governor. And if it's not popping up for some reason, oh, look, Louise Lucas. There she is. This was reported to her, too, for those of you that need to know that. This was also reported to Avula. Danny Avula, by the way, was Northam's child jabber. I got bookended between an interview last year when they did the 5 to 12 vaccine. So Danny Avula, Governor Youngkin, sent from as being the chief VDH child jabber to the Department of Social Services. If that's not frightening enough, that's how I know that name. The Honorable Louise Lucas got this report. Orok. I can't. So this would be everybody. But here's a big one, guys. Lucas, Senate Chair, Education and Health Committee. Okay. You can, and it's in, for some reason it didn't post to the Facebook group, but I'll post it, or somebody can go to YouTube and post it for me in the group or somewhere on my page. But you can look up Office of State Inspector General Performance Audit September 2022. But it goes into, it breaks down all the referrals. It breaks down number of referrals submitted from 2020. And it's a lot more than I'm going to get into now, because I wanted to get more. What is he? Nothing. Sorry, I'm laughing, because if any of you are waiting for him to do anything, why do you think I've been enraged for a year and a half? Because parents have been waiting for him to do something. He's not doing anything. He's not going to do anything. He never was going to do anything. And unless I'm the only person raging about what he's not doing, it's just going to sit here. It is not. Jason Miara is not doing anything. And he's the one that ran, and I'm going to start this big new... No, you're not. No, he's not. He's never going to. The biggest problem, because here's the thing. The Spotsylvania corridor, right there at Fredericksburg, it is the #1 from Miami to Canada child sex trafficking dump-off. because you can jump on, jump off, be gone. Those kids are gone forever. Forever in less than 2 minutes. We're going to get more into the actual CPS problem tonight. But I wanted to show you just a couple clips. Okay. So this would be from February 16th. 63-year-old teacher has been placed on leave according to school officials. Alfredo Godry of Herndon, Virginia, with assault and battery. Fight between a DC teacher and a teacher caught on teacher and a student caught on video.
This video has been floating around social media all day. It shows a staff member placing their hands on a student at a DC school on Tuesday. That student's mother says she can't understand how this incident escalated to this point.
First and foremost, I'm furious.
DC resident Danielle Johnson said a student inside a 10th grade Ballou High School classroom shot this video. She said it shows her 16-year-old son being placed into a chokehold by his teacher.
Look at that!
We agreed to blur Johnson's face upon her request. She said her child was horseplaying before the incident.
He said some words that was inappropriate.
But she believed that was no excuse for the teacher dressed in the gray collared shirt to touch her son.
Hell no, is what I'm going to say to that. And then this is the one most recently out of Chesterfield that I was involved in. It was because a Matoaka mother, this started circulating on a local group. And do I have my phone on me? I do. Actually, hold on. This is sent. So what do? They jump in, they try to cover their asses. And they change the policy. This teacher, so the mother received an incoming call from Matoaka High School administrators. The caller insisted they speak with Branch's now 18-year-old son. After asking about the call, Branch said her son informed her it was regarding an inappropriate relationship with a former teacher. He seemed to have her every single year, and without question, I never questioned it. The teacher gave him special attention back in 9th grade. The child just turned 18. Think about it. The mother said the teacher would pull her son out of class, tell him personal things about her life, and eventually initiated sexual contact with her teen. Here's part of, and it's extremely explicit. They cut out the portion where he tells her, These are not the same screenshots I have, by the way. Mine are much more disgusting. And Chesterfield, the parent filed with Chesterfield Police Department, but the department told 8 News that the investigators were unable to establish a clear timeline pinpointing the student's age when the physical so they couldn't press criminal charges. So what happened? Because I am who I am, I had a neighbor of this teacher contact me. What has Chesterfield done with that information? Nothing. Nothing. And who's failing who? Who's making excuses for who? And who's protecting our children?
Tonight, an elementary school teaching assistant in Fairfax County is on administrative leave after allegedly assaulting a...
This is... Okay, guys, this special education, the children, the tiny humans, but this was 8 months ago, Fairfax.
Student with special needs. That incident happened last Friday, and Northern Virginia Bureau reporter Max Marcilla joins us live from outside Dogwood Elementary School. And Max, we're learning more from police about what happened.
Well, we still don't know what happened inside the classroom during the alleged assault. But what we do know from police is that there were 2 witnesses, 2 staff members walked into the classroom and witnessed the alleged assault. Now, a 10-year employee of the school is facing charges.
Families of Dogwood Elementary School in Reston opened their inboxes Wednesday morning to find this email from Principal Kate Beckner. "I am deeply saddened this morning," it begins. Beckner then shares details. An instructional assistant has been arrested and charged with assaulting a student in our school. Fairfax County Police confirm the man is 60-year-old Mark McDicken, who has worked at the school for about 10 years. They also say the student he's accused of assaulting has special needs.
It's always incredibly disheartening to hear about something like this happening.
Amanda Campbell is the president of the Special Education PTA in Fairfax County. She says children with disabilities are 3 times more likely to face abuse and neglect than their non-disabled peers.
There's an incredible amount of trust that we put in our staff when we send our kids to school. And to rebuild in a moment like this will take some time.
Dogwood Elementary's principal acknowledged that too, writing, "The primary responsibility for anyone who works in education is the safety and well-being of children. When that trust appears to be broken, it affects us all." Campbell says consistent communication is needed and more qualified staff, especially during this era of staffing shortages, which she says is not new in special education.
Really speaks to the need to focus our efforts on special education to ensure that our most vulnerable students.
Which is outraging, because if you look up Fairfax and the amount, or look up special needs children that have been assaulted across this state in the last 2 or 3 years, you'll be floored. I'm going to continue. This would be, oh, look, this year. Alexander County School.
At University of Phoenix, we have scholarships for everyone hard at work, no matter where you work. Get up to a $3,000 scholarship, starting with your first course. Explore your opportunities at phoenix.edu.
A former Alexander County teacher was arrested after deputies say she assaulted a student during school hours. Teresa Campbell is charged with misdemeanor child abuse. In a statement, the school district said that incident happened this past Thursday, but administration was not notified until the next day. The district also fired Campbell.
Now there is a Chesterfield County in South Carolina, so I don't remember. Is there an Alexander County? I might have a brain fart. But oh, here's Cave Spring, guys. Cave Spring. That would be like Roanoke. Okay, that would be this year. That would be about 3 weeks ago. Former instructional aide at Roanoke. Guys, see the problem here? Instructional aide. Instructional aide. Okay, they're replacing teachers with instructional aides. None of these people are qualified educators, teachers. Instructional aides. Instructional aides. Okay. Facing assault and battery charges, a school incident report states the aide grabbed a 4-year-old by the shoulders and neck.
Mountain Lake Lodge has always been...
Okay. I'm just going to... So that was that one. This one is red. Yeah, this one is red. Okay. Oh, another Fairfax. When was this? Oh, this was about 2 weeks ago. 2 months ago. April 14th. April 14th, another Fairfax.
It would not. In addition to wiping out DC's traffic camera network, Jim, the Congress is...
See, sometimes I hope I'm going to get a video and it's just them live. So, 2 months ago, a Fairfax County teacher has been arrested on 4 counts of indecent liberties with a student. Aaliyah, oh, this one's everywhere. I looked it up. Of Reston. That's her. James Madison High School. Inappropriate sexual relationship. Arrested and charged. A learning disabilities teacher with Fairfax. Do you see the problem here? This is why I tagged all my sped moms in this. Since 2016. Prince William. When was this? Again, April 24th, 2023. Arrested for sexually assaulting a student under the age of 15. Detectives concluded an investigation on Wednesday 19th into a sexual assault report to have occurred. Oh, there he is. The victim, under the age of 15, and a teacher, this is the teacher, arranged to meet outside the school March 30th, Prince William County. The teacher was at Fred Lynn Middle School. Provided her with marijuana for driving her to her residence in Dumfries, where he sexually assaulted her. Then dropped the victim off near the school. Oh, here's a statement. The Prince William County Police will announce today the arrest. Nobody's outraged. If you're... Okay, the Chesapeake. Last August. Special education teacher arrested for alleged sexual battery. And guys, I'm working on writing all this up. But look here, Ed News. Sexual abuse in Virginia, right here. ednewsvirginia.org. Amen. Amen. Because if this is not an issue that every parent can come together on, for once, for these children, because we are Virginians for children first, that's all children, is that if this is not an issue that all parents should get in on, I don't know what is. And that's both sides of the aisle. Mother says Chesterfield teacher. Okay, so this is Chesterfield. School bus driver. Aide pleads guilty to and receipt of child porn. That would be Newport News. Okay. So May 22nd was that report that I just told you about. So this one here, ednewsvirginia.org. Falls church student charged with rape and assault. Again, guys, this stuff is not normal when children are raping other children. Virginia Beach school employee charged with possessing school porn, May 5th. Teacher sodomized teen student, gave her marijuana. That was the one we just did. April 18th, Arlington Public Schools halted overnight field trips after incident. Why in the world would you send your kid on an overnight field trip in public school, first of all? I'm not blaming the victim. I'm just saying. Madison High School teacher charged with sex crime, April 14th. And in this one, again, I think it was Newport News or Portsmouth, the sexual incident involving second graders I talked about. This stuff is not normal. It's what they're teaching them. Oh, this one. 2 staff members. A female PE and a male teacher's aide are in jail for alleged... This is Frederick County Middle School and Shenandoah High in Winchester. A 23-year-old PE teacher at Frederick County Middle School. Indecent liberties of the child. Walker with a 12-year-old boy. Trust me, guys, the women, just as bad. Okay? And then you got Matthew Gayer on contributing to delinquency of a minor. Consensual sexual encounter with a 16-year-old male student he met on social media. Frederick, Winchester.
A teacher in Front Royal, Virginia is facing child cruelty and assault charges
7 days ago, guys.
Tonight for allegedly mistreating preschoolers.
Parents say they are relieved the investigation has led to charges, but they're upset they were left in the dark for days even after the teacher was suspended.
Northern Virginia Bureau Chief Julie Carey has the new details.
Why has this went on so far, people? Y'all are supposed to be protecting these kids.
Anger and...
I wish Chesterfield County, this makes me so mad, had parents like this. Because after report after report after report after report of hearing it all week long, I'll be down in a second, honey, about the children being assaulted in our schools, nobody showed up at our school board meetings.
Frustration pouring out at a recent Warren County School Board meeting. Parents and grandparents of preschoolers upset that a teacher had been suspended for suspected child abuse, but they weren't notified for days. Tyler Wright.
Our children were never the parents were never notified. We had 2 teachers, okay? 12 assault charges, 6 children on preschools, and nobody showed up in Chesterfield County.
4 and 5-year-olds attend the preschool program at Hilda J. Barber Elementary in Front Royal. He began to hear rumors in early May that his children's teacher...
Yorktown, March 24th. Yorktown Elementary had assaulted a student. 2 alleged incidences, one March 21st, one March 24th. Yorktown, York County School Division. Stacey Ames. It's the same one. 2 teachers in Virginia County arrested for inappropriate sexual contact. Frederick County. Same one I just did. Elementary school assistant charged with special needs, assault with special, Mark McDicken for 10 years in Reston. Allegedly assaulting a special needs child. Oh, that's the dog one I just did. They just didn't name names then. Now they are now. So this is the one from Chesterfield. That they covered up, by the way. And then wouldn't answer questions. Oh, for Christ's sake. I think I recorded it. Hang on. Virginia teacher charged, this is going back to, fuck your elementary school teacher is faced with charges after he allegedly restrained a 7-year-old with a belt. And just to show you guys one thing, is, so I'm going to get off of here now. So here, this is what I've done. I started printing, this was weeks ago. I started printing them out, going back years. So in Chesterfield, second Chesterfield preschool teacher charged with assaulting students after the first one. So Catherine Harlow, and that would be after Harbaugh, different, Harbaugh. This is at Chester Early Learning Academy. Both were sent back to work. One assaulted 5 children, one assaulted 1. They didn't find out about the second until the CPS, the police department investigated CPS, who never reported the first or the second one. Nobody knew about the second one. Northumberland County, August 31st. Why one Virginia mom believes her substitute teacher assaulted her son in school. She goes on to talk about how her tiny child was no longer acting like themselves, came home with marks. Guys, if your kids aren't acting like themselves, you need to find out why. 8 months ago, former Chesterfield teacher arrested, charged with sexual assault of teen high school student. Yves Denton was a teacher at Thomas Dale High School. Go figure, Chesterfield County, Thomas Dale. Shocker. This was the dance school. Police said the victim, a 17-year-old female student, had previously been one of Denton's students, but was not one at the time of the assault. The assault was reported to the police February of this year, 2022. And after an 8-month investigation, she was finally arrested August 4th. Another Chesterfield, okay, this is the same thing. So Harlaw, oh, and then there's Thomas Dale again. This year, again, Thomas Dale 5 months ago, the girls volleyball, I believe, coach. I learned late last night on Monday that the spouse of an assistant girls basketball coach is a registered sex offender in another state. Bravo. Thomas Dale, again. Attended games during the 2022 season, traveled to a girls basketball tournament in Tennessee, and was involved in 2 practices during the time. Registered sex offender, having access to our children. And then there's the Thomas Dale student who raped a freshman girl last year, who Chesterfield County, bravo, Sean Smith, who needs to be fired if you're running for Chesterfield County School Board. Because they then go on to, again, They don't care. Chesterfield mom calls for accountability after son's alleged assault. This would be the Chesterfield mom called for accountability after her 11-year-old autistic son was sexually assaulted by another student on 2 separate occasions at Bailey Bridge Middle School. September 23rd and 24th. It was actually last year because it was right after the transgender policy with the bathrooms that are a safety issue. You think boys sodomizing other boys in bathrooms is a bathroom issue. When you add the fact that you can go in and out with whatever bathroom you want, do you think that's going to make a bathroom issue any safer? He said, Mom, I went to the principal's office and I said, well, that's odd. You know, he's a really good kid. Diagnosed with autism. He's on the spectrum. A boy touched my butt. What do you mean a boy touched my butt? I'm thinking it's just kids, you know, fooling around. A group of boys that came up behind him, another decided to leave the group and stick his in his son's as a joke. Is there any picture yet? This is the tip of the iceberg. What's underneath the iceberg? And then we got Virginia Beach 1 month ago. Virginia Beach cafeteria assistant among two charged in child sex assault case. 2 members of the Civil Air Patrol, Virginia Beach Public School System, have been arrested as authorities investigate the sexual assault of a child. Both men have been reported and arrested by the Portsmouth Police Special Victims Unit. Jury finds former Fuck Your High School teacher guilty of sex abuse. Kevin Mettinger of Warrenton was found guilty Thursday on 4 sexual stemming from 4 2021 instances involving a teen who they tutored. Carnal knowledge and 2 of indecent liberties with a child. Here's the one on Portsmouth involving 2nd graders. As this is a student discipline matter and personnel matter and possible legal matter, the division is limited in the details it can share. Here's the problem, like my daughter's drug abuse. If my child OD'd because of the assignment and the map that Chesterfield County gave to her at 11 years old, if I didn't know what was going on, who would be blamed? Me, the parent. They claim the right of the parent, but they don't have the responsibilities. What led to 2nd graders performing oral sex on each other? There's a pattern, and you have to look to see what they are taught. Hopewell public school employee charged with the distribution of child pornography 3 months ago. That's also Chesterfield County, by the way. Jonathan Estrada of Chesterfield was taken into custody and charged with 5 count of distribution of child pornography. Fox Elementary, this would be Richmond City. Twin sons assaulted by a Fox Elementary school teacher during school hours. Let's see. 3 months ago, former Chesterfield dance teacher faces Chesterfield multiple felony sex abuse charges involving a minor, Catherine Martick, 7 felonies of indecent liberties with a child. That would be, I don't know what our dance school is, but Martick. And here's the Yorktown one, March 24th, that we went through briefly. Ames. This was, again, a 53-year-old Stacey Ames of York was booked and then released on unsecured bond. The victim is a 5-year-old girl. He said another teacher witnessed Ms. Ames pick the child up off the ground by her arms and throw her 2 to 3 feet, at which the point the child landed on her feet but then fell to the ground. The sheriff said the child wasn't injured. Kempsville High staffer arrested for assault has charge withdrawn 4 months ago. Oh, it did not take place on school grounds and was not school related. That's it. Falls Church, Virginia. I think we covered this one. Special education teacher in Virginia arrested after allegedly assaulting a student twice. Marshall High School special education teacher has been arrested and charged with 2 counts of assault on a special education needs child. Another teacher reported they had observed Bonzano physically assault the same student approximately 6 months earlier. But that teacher didn't report. Detectives with the Fairfax County Police were notified of the assault on October 13th, 2022. Our most vulnerable children, special education, and our tiniest humans. Here we go, Richmond again. Blackwell preschool. Okay, do you see the problem with Head Start federal preschool yet? Preschool. That's Head Start. And the thing is that Head Start is like for the parents who can't afford preschool. So when we talk about, it's like welfare. You're taking advantage and you're abusing the parents who have no other choices. So that's what people are like, oh, you're a racist. No, the school's failing your children and they're doing it. Just like welfare is not helping you. Education welfare is certainly not going to help your children. Why? How many counts of abuse until we recognize that there's a problem with government federal subsidized preschool? That's Blackwell 4 months ago. Here's one. Fairfax County, an instructional assistant working with Fairfax Public Schools. Simple assault after an alleged incident involving a student at a Springfield area school. 59-year-old Fauza Khan was seen by another school employee dragging a student by their arm down the hall at Saratoga Elementary School. Loudoun County. Assault took place February 3rd. Alfredo Gaudry of Herndon was charged on Tuesday with assault and battery, according to authorities. It goes on and on. Fitzgerald Elementary School, Benita Fitzgerald Drive in Woodbridge. 8-year-old boy was struck by his teacher, identified as 38 Jovica Bristol of Dumfries. Another Loudoun, this would be February 9th, in Ashburn. 11 months after fighting for accountability, Loudoun County parents breaking their silence after they say their daughter and other female students were sexually harassed and abused. This is all Title IX, guys. When they want to talk about Title IX, that's what this stuff falls into. Okay? This is big stuff that they're covering up. Can you imagine getting a phone call? Your daughter and 2 other girls have come to us with allegations against the teacher, but don't worry, we'll get with her in the cafeteria after lunch. That's how this principal approached it. The teacher had allowed them to skip their own classes to come to his class anytime without writing a pass, because his pass would, of course, have a trail. And he made it easy that they could be best buddies. This is the problem that I keep posting these things. They're like, let me be your best friend. Let me be your confidant. No, that's not your role, is to love my child. Bus monitor assaulted student, I think, Newport News. Bus monitor. 9-year-old child at Kiln Creek Elementary School in September. Patty Washington, the bus monitor, allegedly struck the child ZM in the face before telling him twice she wished she could whip his tail. That one. But guys, these are just the ones that I printed. Granby High School in Norfolk. I don't know if I did this one or not. Chesapeake teacher, special ed teacher. Liz Tate sat with her 11-year-old daughter, points to the spark in her eye, now in her back. Her odd behavior sent her home. It goes on and on and on and on and on. She bit him, she slapped him. Virginia accused of abusing students. This would be Norfolk. 2 misdemeanor warrants for assault have been brought against Marcia Dunaway, 41, of Norfolk. Bonneview Elementary School. She bit him, she slapped him, she pushed him his head onto the desk, slammed him into the desk, so many different things. A middle school teacher in Prince William County has been charged with assault and battery after police say he grabbed an 11-year-old student inside a classroom, held her upside down by her ankles. Tinkorin Igayaman, 40, who teaches math at Ripon Middle School, happened somewhere between November 1st and 4th inside the classroom. Has been with the school since 2010. Deeply disappointed. The principal said they are deeply disappointed by this allegation. And it goes on and on. Norfolk teacher accused of abuse since in 2019, guilty of assault and battery, sentenced to 30 days. Bayview Elementary special education teacher has been found guilty of 1 count of assault and battery and was sentenced to 30 days in jail. 30 days in jail. Marcia Dunaway. And these go back years. This one's from 2 years ago. Virginia high school teacher in Suffolk accused of sexual abuse of a student. This one goes back to, oh, here's one. Former Fairfax County teacher Kylmira Gustav and her assistant Cecilia Benaves were accused of dragging a child from a wheelchair, slapping kids, force-feeding them to the point of choking, and in one case pouring hot sauce in the child's mouth. That was February 3rd of 2023. Nonverbal children in wheelchairs. Two years ago, middle school teacher in Brunswick County arrested, charged with assaulting student. 33-year-old Wilson Taylor IV was arrested. Just enough probable cause to charge Taylor, an 8th grade science teacher at James S. Russell Middle School. The student involved was a male, and the incident occurred in a classroom with 15 other students present. Henrico, 1 year ago, middle school teacher takes the stand accused of sexual assault. Dean Lako. In 2017, teacher sexually assaulted student in Maryland after prior guilty plea in Virginia. Fairfax Public Schools failed to ensure a teacher who pleaded guilty to assaulting a student had his Virginia teaching license revoked, which allowed the man to find another teaching job and later assault another young student. So this is not just a Scott Ziegler problem. So I'm just going to stop there because my blood pressure is starting to rise. But former Fuck Your middle school teacher charged with sexual abuse November 29, 2022. Caitlin Renee Grimley, a former math teacher at Fuck Your Cedar Lee Middle School in connection with alleged made of 13 or 14 years old. So see here, guys, this is what we know. And I can tell you what we don't know is what I get sent to me by teachers. So say Carver Middle School, huge problem. Teachers were reporting to me last year multiple issues. One was a special education teacher, yet again, kicked the children out of the class, flipping desks, calling them effing the R word, the worst word that you can call like a special needs child, calling them effing R word, stupid, flipping desks. Okay, Carver, and there's like 5 or 6 teachers that made statements on this. Well, in August, the teachers contacted me and said they're trying to let her come back. She was on the roster. So a couple of us took charge. So what did they do? They removed her from the roster, and guess where she's teaching now? Henrico. So you see the problem? They want the rights, They're abusing our children. They're coming after our rights and our children. And this is why you have to know this stuff. You have to. So, if anybody wants to help me create a database other than the one, please look up, and I'll post all this. I've got to go because I've got my own little rugrat that I'm protecting, running around here doing who knows what. So, this is what's going on. And guys, you know what you can do? You can search your state, teacher assault, Virginia. Go to news, go to videos. You'll eventually, if you look, may not be the first page, the second page, the third page. You'll find what you're looking for. It's that easy because the news reports it. But if you're like me, you don't watch mainstream media, you're not going to get fed. I get fed it when I open up Google because the algorithms don't understand me because I research everything. So they feed me a lot of information. But this is one of the perks of being in the is that I get sent information all the time. The bottom of the iceberg that nobody gets. And so when you hide in the back and not wanting to be a part of this fight, that's when these people get away with this stuff. And then you have school boards. Guys, there's something called fiduciary duty. Okay? You can't claim that you have the rights of a child but not have any responsibility with what happens to them. They have a fiduciary duty to make sure that they're not only, we're grooming your children because we know what's best. Okay, well, when you don't know what's best and we don't know what's going on, who's responsible? We're not. And until we stand up and tell them that, when the suicide rate skyrockets, don't blame it on the mental illness, blame it on what they're teaching the children. Go look at what they're teaching the children. When a 6-year-old shoots his, okay? Don't automatically look and blame the parent because you can look it up and see the teacher try to look for help. They found the gun. They searched for the gun beforehand. They knew about it. And now they're trying to get out of that $40 million lawsuit. The teacher begged for help before she was shot by that child. Okay? And then you think about all the data tracking that they're doing. There's the surveillance of our children. Google, Gaggle, GoGuardian, Securely, Bark. It's not doing anything. It's data mining our kids so that they can drive them into the workforce. It's not actually. Virginia was the first state to have required legislative threat assessment teams over 10 years ago. What are those threat assessment teams doing? Covering stuff up? They're not doing anything. There's too many questions to ask. If this was a theater of war, we are past World War II where there was 4 fronts, 4 theaters of war. There are so many theaters of war is that if we don't get our different sections of the military straight so we can fight this, we're screwed. We are screwed. And if you're going to rely on a special interest group that you hear about in the news a lot, sorry, they're not going to be the ones. They're the agenda-driven special interest groups. We have to do this together. Because I'm sorry, guys, the current government, they don't even know what law is on the books, much less able to enforce the law that's on the books. We don't need any more law. Zero. Everything to protect these kids is already on the books. Period. So, tonight at 9, Jerome Bell, Rumble, or Getter, the Radical Republicans is his show. He's got a great guest on, Dr. I can't remember her name at the moment, but they're going to be talking about like Ebola and the new coming pandemic. And then at 9, we're going to talk about the election recap from yesterday, and then we're going to dig into how social workers, CPS, and all of this stuff is designed to become the pipeline to child sex trafficking. So, see y'all again tonight. Bye.